Mitan Kafou, c'est podium pour tout Haïtien ordinaire qui font un travail extraordinaire. Quel que soit côté où il y a à travers le monde, nous menons sur podium Mitan Kafou. Moun sa yo, c'est moun pa yo, c'est moun pam yo. Nous devons valoriser dans Mitan Kafou. Ce sont des Haïtiens qui font un travail extraordinaire. Ils sont des moun ordinaires. Yo humble, yo pas aimé parler de tête yo. C'est ça yo fait qui parle pour yo. Et je dis à yo ban nous chance. Yo vinn partager vie privée yo, vie professionnelle yo. Avec vous, côté quoi besoin inspiration, côté que y a guidé pour capable progresser tout. Mitan Kafou, c'est podium tout haïtien ordinaire qui font un travail extraordinaire. Nous valorisons dans Mitan Kafou. Mesdames, salut tout le monde, non pas moi, c'est Marc Lubin, bienvenue dans Mitan Kafou. Nous connaissons que Mitan Kafou, c'est podium pour tout haïtien ordinaire qui font un travail extraordinaire. Les gens qui ne parlent pas parler de tête, c'est ça yo fait qui parle pour eux. Aujourd'hui, nous parlons aller dans Kreyol Korner. Nous parlons juste Texas. Côté que nous parlons rencontrer Nahika Hillery. Ils ont food truck côté que c'est manger haïtien que le vendent. Parce que le rive dans zone là, pas rien que te représenter haïtien. Et background ça que le connaît, c'est pas de manger le terre, son professeur l'école et qui changeait à ça que le connaît, qu'on y a là, les représenter pays fièrement dans Austin, Texas. M'a rappelez-nous encore, nous dans Mitan Kafou. Nom c'est Marc Lubin. Ou ka joindre nous sur YouTube, Mitan Kafou. Tant pis, inscrit, subscribe, enregistrez, abonnez dans channel YouTube là, remets nous sur Facebook. Tant pis, Mitan Kafou. C'est podium tout haïtien ordinaire qui a fait un travail extraordinaire. Ce sont des haïtiens exceptionnels. Nous, Austin, Texas, et nous connaissons Austin, Texas, c'est là que majorité monde l'an passé a fait festival de musique, un concours de manger qui a fait tout le temps. Et bien, majorité culture à travers le monde passé dans Austin, Texas, dans festival que vous fait chaque année. Mais, nous, les haïtiens, pas nous, qui rive, qui dit tant bien. Même rive là, pas grand haïtien. Ça fait ça. Eh bien, il décide faire Kreyol Korner. Et c'est pas même Texas que le fait, non. Il fait de l'autre côté. Et puis, l'a regardé, il dit, moi-même, faut pays pam, faut culture pam, faut manger pam, là, tout, même à tout l'autre. Et c'est là que nous retrouvons Nahika Hillery, qui n'a mis tant qu'à fois aujourd'hui. Nahika, Nabdou, merci. Parce que vous acceptez l'invitation. Bienvenue dans Mitan Kafou. Comment y est?
Moi, pas moi-même.
Eh bien, nous l'en avons kembe. Et Nahika, qui koto fait?
So, I was actually born in Brockton, Massachusetts, which is right outside of Boston.
Et maman avec papa, tous de ces haïtiens que yo yé?
Oui, my father and mother's family are from Okap and Pion.
Et puis c'est là que vous commencez à grandir avec eux et puis commencez à goûter, manger haïtien et pour tomber d'amour manger haïtien, pas vrai?
Oh, of course, yes. My mom, you know, just like any other household, my mom would make a feast every single day.
Et est-ce que c'est qu'on y a un Kreyol Korner ou juste au Austin, Texas, mais c'est pas là où t'es fait. Mais qui sortait fait avant qu'on arrive dans la question Kreyol Korner? OK, ça aurait les un food truck ou à vendre manger ambulant qui dans un camion. Qui sortait faire
I actually started when I went to college. I actually majored in biology.
Wow.
So I started off with a medical interest. I was interested in studying disease and to understand how food and disease are related. I wanted to go to medical school to be a naturopathic doctor so I can assist with treating diseases in a natural way. And this is the path, you know, my parents supported and wanted me to do. Just again, I come from a typical Haitian household where the medical field is very encouraged. So this is something I started off really wanting to do. I was very passionate about it. But when I moved to Texas, I ended up moving to Texas with my husband. I didn't know a thing about Texas, like nothing. So I came here and I was like, okay, I'm just going to come here and see if they have the same program I'm looking for, which they didn't. So that's when I ended up getting into education.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked in education for 2 years. I was a science teacher teaching AP biology and anatomy and physiology.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ended up getting promoted to assistant dean of students.
Oh, wow.
So as I was doing that, that's what ended up leading me to the food truck. It's not something that was on my mind at first because I was so new here. But what I realized, I went to a reggae festival here. And so my husband and I were so excited about it because we were like, finally, we're going to get Caribbean food here. We were so excited to go to this festival. And I noticed that there was like Mexican food and Greek food at the reggae festival. And I was like, where is the Caribbean representation here? So that's when I started to do some research, and I realized there was no Haitian food in Austin.
Wow.
I cook at home, so, you know, I don't eat out all the time. I cook at home most of the time, so I didn't even realize there was no Haitian food out here. And that's when, you know, my friends encouraged me too, even the friends that we made here. Mm-hmm. They've never had Haitian food before, and they would eat at our house all the time. And I just felt like it was a responsibility of mine as a Haitian woman to represent here, especially because there was nothing in Austin representing the Haitian culture. And that's where this whole idea started. That's how it all started. That's how I got here. I ended up doing some market research, and I held public tastings for anyone. You know, anyone was invited, they can come. And I hosted it for about 30 to 50 people at a time, and just so I can get their feedback. Is this food that you guys want here? Are you guys interested? And I received nothing but positive feedback from all the tastings we've done. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to commit to this full time.
Wow. Et maman avec papa, est-ce que yo c'est professionnel et qui ça que yo fait yo même?
So my dad is actually a respiratory therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was a nurse, but she's now retired.
Ok. Non, ça veut dire que ou même ou te doit plus pencher dans question médicale, mais ou garder ouais question manger. Mais comment ça a commencé pour vous? Parce que ou bon mon petit détail comment que ou vinn ouais que pas une représentation pour est-ce que le facile pour un monde faire un business tant qu'on food truck parce que te doit ouvrir un restaurant, mais c'est food truck là qu'on choisit pour qui ça?
So the reason I went the food truck route because so I don't know if you're familiar, but Austin, Texas is like the home of food trucks. Food trucks here are actually becoming more popular than restaurants in Austin. So when I decided to join the food industry, I went the food truck route for two reasons. One, because it's part of the Austin culture, and I love the idea of being mobile. We have Haitian restaurants in where I'm from in Boston. Like every corner there's a Haitian restaurant, but I thought it was just such a cool idea. If I'm going to spread the love of Haitian food, why not go mobile so I don't have to stay in one place all the time? Mm-hmm. And it makes it more fun. There's more flexibility in terms of what you can do with the menu, your hours. I could do festivals, reach out to as many people as possible rather than just being in one location and expecting people to come to me. I want to go to the people. Mm-hmm. So opening the food truck was the best decision, especially for this concept, because now, I mean, we're the first Haitian food truck in Texas, not just in Austin. Mm-hmm. So now we can travel around and bring our food to other places as well.
Wow. Et dans ce ça, est-ce que vous découvrez que une grosse communauté haïtienne qui dans Austin, Texas, mais comme vous virez de tous côtés, est-ce que il y a un pile coin côté rivo jeune haïtien?
So Austin doesn't have a huge Haitian community. I would say there's about 400 to 500 of us here. Mm-hmm. Houston has a bigger population of Haitians. That's where I think majority of them in Texas are. We also have a lot in Dallas and in Killeen, which is another city here. Mm-hmm. But Austin, I would say, probably has the least amount of Haitians here.
Wow.
And with that being said, although I opened a Haitian business, my goal with this was not just to have something for the Haitians, but to reach out to the demographics that don't have access to Haitian food, because my goal is to make Haitian food mainstream and make it more popular. Just like here, the most popular cuisine in Texas is Mexican food.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to reach out to people. My target audience are those that may have never had Haitian food before or don't have access to it, or are curious about trying something new, because I want to get our food to be just as popular as the other cuisines that are here.
Mm-hmm. C'est que ou sorti Boston qu'on y a arrivé Texas, et même si nous aux États-Unis, mais et gen un petit changement dans façon que moun yo yé. Qui ça qui semblait avec côté et qui ça qui différent, et obligé réajuster tête tout pour capable sentir plus ou moins à l'aise.
Austin is very different from Boston. They're both two big cities.
Mm-hmm.
Austin is, it's advancing quickly because we have a lot of tech companies coming out here. Austin, it's really similar to LA in terms of the city life, and with having all the tech companies here and such a it's like a younger crowd in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
What's very different between Boston and Austin is the demographics. I was surrounded by a Caribbean population in Boston everywhere I went. I mean, in Brockton, but also in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
In Austin, the demographics is extremely diverse here. So you get a little bit of everybody. And so that alone makes Austin very different for me because of my surroundings.
Mm-hmm. Wow, okay. Et dans ce sens ça, ou t'es un professeur qu'on y a là, ou est pas gon bagay qui ou pas senti gon bagay qui manque ou? Salle de classe, élève yo, et est-ce que ça pas manqué ou?
No, I feel like I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And although I was encouraged to be in the medical field from my parents,
mm-hmm.
When I decided to join the food industry, everyone was like, "Oh, okay, this is great, but are you sure this is what you want to do? Are you going to make money? Is it lucrative?" And I was like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that I am passionate about spreading the love of Haitian food, so I want to start with that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why I ended up going to culinary school to become an actual chef, because I wanted the professional training in order to take the business to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And now with where I'm at, almost 2 years into the business, we have experienced a lot of success, a lot of exposure here. I'm going to go all the way with this. I really want to start the first, Haitian food truck chain in America.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm starting here in Austin, and I plan on taking it all the way. So no, I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
Okay. That's when nous doit venir kankou yon big chain kankou McDonald's, kankou Burger King, côté quel que soit côté que moun nan yé, li gen doit acheter franchise et puis qu'on y a li l'ouvri un Kreyol Korner quel que soit côté lié. Qui ça nan menu et ko gagne?
So we have a little bit of everything. We have our traditional menu, so of course, tout moun la reme griot, banan, nous gen tout du collé, Zili Jonjon. We have macaroni au gratin. We do the pulak sauce.
Mm-hmm.
But we have the traditional menu, but then we also have more modernized options that we've created as well, which is like the stuffed. We have a banan peze bowl, and you can get griot or shrimp in it or chicken in it, topped with pickles. Of course, we have like boulette. We have pâté. So yeah, we have traditional and then also more modernized options on the menu.
Est-ce que vous visitez Haïti déjà?
Oh yes, I go. If not every year, I go very often, at least every other year.
Mm-hmm. Est-ce que vous avez chance pour visiter machin que nous gagnons en Haïti, ça que nous relais dans langue pas nous chanjambé qui bola ou qui fait et qui pas gen choc mais qui a fait même bagaille là?
Yeah, they actually, when I go to Haiti now, they are my inspiration. The people that are selling the food in the street are my inspiration. I always go there to support them instead of the restaurants, and I like to see how they're doing things. I love like the big pate cordé from the street, or even the spaghetti, like how they prepare the spaghetti. I'm always there to support them, and I take that and I'm like, I want to be able to represent that here, because as a food truck, we are considered more street food. I want to be able to bring that same concept to the truck as well.
Et est-ce qu'on pense que peut-être c'est un bagage qu'on arrive peut-être arriver à le faire en Haïti, commencer par côté parents on sorti et puis le ça ou capable établir des franchises tout côté que Kreyol Korner a pas seulement au Austin Texas et aux États-Unis mais les gens en Haïti tout.
Oh, I would love to. I would if the Haitians want it there, I will bring it there. I would absolutely love to bring it back to Haiti.
Est-ce que c'est difficile parce que gen moun qui doit attendre nous là et qui doit temps penser pour relé pour qui gens yo capable acheter commencer qui gens ka commencer par préparer non seulement pour aider mais pour aider culture haïtienne à pile au niveau ça relé manger OK et qui gens si on veut faire une qui gens capable commencer est-ce que qui démarche qui recherche pour le faire.
This is one thing I can say about being in the food industry. It is very competitive, and we as Haitians already know that we have a good product. Our food is flavorful. Our food is spicy. So when we go into the culinary industry, we know we have a good product. But that's not all it takes to run a business. It's about management. It's about making sure we're open on time, making sure we have a full menu. Also, another thing, when I wanted to open this business, I support a lot of Haitian businesses everywhere. Everywhere I go, I support a lot of Haitian businesses. But I do think we need to improve in our customer service. And that is one model I had to bring to the business. I'm like, if I'm going to do a Haitian business, I'm going to make sure the customer service is like resort style customer service, the hospitality, making sure that the customer comes first, they feel comfortable, they know exactly what we're doing, and that they see us in a positive light. So having a customer service strategy is important as well. But when it comes to running the food truck, it's fun. It's fun because, again, it's more flexible than owning a building. It's absolutely possible for anyone to do, but you have to remember, food is only 30% of the business. You have to make sure you keep up with your bookkeeping, your sales. You have to make sure you hire good staff and train them well to do the recipes exactly the same. So even when you're not there, they can still provide the same kind of food for your customers. You have to make sure that the customer service is the same. You have to make sure you match the same business model as any other successful food business. And it's about being consistent. And it's a lot of hard work. I have 18 to 20-hour days sometimes, probably 4 days a week. And that's because I do everything from accounting to marketing to cooking to cleaning to, inventory, etc. Although I have a team, I still have to overlook everything. So you have to be able to commit all your time and attention to the business in order for it to be successful. And I think that is one of the reasons why we receive so much recognition, even locally, from Austin bloggers and the magazines here, because they heard about us, they came, and they wrote an article and featured us on their blog about not just the food, but the customer service and providing the island vibe when they come to the truck. So you have to be able to embody the whole business model. This is my blood, sweat, and tears. This is what I do full-time, overtime. So that is the one thing I can say. It's not just about the food. You have to commit to everything else. Managing the business, operations is the most essential part of running a good business.
Et dans ce cas aussi, j'aime reparler m'gè l'impression que peut-être si gen moun qui mande pour vinn bay des séminaires, OK, des classes pour montrer comment pour yo capable mener un restaurant ou bien un food truck haïtien ou disponible pour capable faire pour yo?
Yes, I would, anyone, I am an open book. Anyone can contact me about helping them with starting their business. I do want to put out there, I am still a student. I am still learning myself, only being 2 years in. But I take what I learned very seriously, and I make sure I'm learning something new every single day. Mm-hmm. So if someone wants to contact me so I can mentor them to get started, I would absolutely provide 110% of all the information I have. Mm-hmm. So yes, I would love that. And I would love to franchise even to other Haitians to open Kreyol Korner all around the country. Like, I want us to be able to come together as a community to do this together. Mm-hmm. Let's spread the love of Haitian food, but let's do it correctly. Let's run our business the way other successful businesses are being ran. Mm-hmm. That's my whole motto. Like, we have to do it right.
Et une journée, à qui l'heure commence et qui l'heure fini? Parce que un restaurant que me connais son bail qui extrêmement au côté que obligé de concentrer sous lui ou là 24/24 et pour faire. Et un restaurant ambulant quand coupa là à qui l'heure journée on commence à qui l'heure fini?
So I begin work at 7 a.m. every day. Mm-hmm. And I begin on the computer. Wow. I start off with going over what my to-do list is and my calendar, because we do a lot of corporate catering as well today. So I go over the operations for the day. Just to walk you through a typical day for me. I will meet up with my team. We will go food shopping. We'll start prep and getting ready to open. Mm-hmm. As we open, I'm there for a few hours to make sure everything is in place and we run smoothly. At that point, I will leave to go buy whatever else we need to go get. More plating, more utensils, etc. I also have to register with like a commercial kitchen here, so I have paperwork to do with them. So this is something that I start at 7 a.m. and we close at 8, so I'm probably at the truck until about 10 o'clock. With having to deep clean it and getting everything prepared for the next day. So I would say, my days are like 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. On an average day. That's my work day.
Ou sont mariés? Est-ce qu'on a un petit?
Yes. No kids yet. We only have a dog.
Okay. That's mean plus ou moins kounya ou ka concentrer 100% sur lui parce que ou pas qu'on a un monde qui beaucoup plus important que Kreyol Korner. Ou bien aussi important.
Yes. We definitely we talked about having kids, it's something we wanted to do, but we put it on hold because I wanted to make sure that the business was up and running first. But now that our operations are running smoothly, now I can kind of step away and focus on building a family.
Ou gen nan façon qu'on parle, moi ouais que grand pile détermination. Et qui ou gen maman avec papa frère soeur quand même. Et qui côté on prend détermination ça et professionnalisme ça que me senti dans façon qu'on parler. À qui est-ce mon nous peut sembler dans façon qu'on fait business?
My parents. Honestly, my mom and dad are absolutely amazing. From starting with my childhood, my mom being nurturing, but also a woman who is hardworking. She worked 2 jobs. She worked 16 hours, but her family was her priority. She made sure she came home, food was on the table, and everyone was taken care of. And then on the other end, my dad pushed education being the biggest priority from being a child up until now. And he said, it doesn't matter what you do, you have to take it all the way and you have to succeed. And my parents, even when I decided to switch over from the medical field and decided to go to culinary school, they were so encouraging because their whole thing was, I know you're going to do something great out of whatever you decide to do. Mm-hmm. And my parents are also very successful, and they were also very ambitious too, especially my dad. And he went back to school at 55, and he got a completely different degree to change his career. Mm-hmm. And this is someone that doesn't ever seem to want to slow down. He always he's always about wanting a successful career to be able to live a good life. And that's the same model I have. Whatever I start, I will finish. And whatever I start, I will succeed at. Because there is no other option. It can fail, and I will get right back up and do it a different way to make sure that it succeeds. So that's just how I've been. All my friends and family know this about me. I am all about the end goal. I'm going to get wherever I see myself getting, and I will make sure I get there no matter what it takes.
Ok, avant que nous rentrions dans la question pour demander au niveau produit, nous gagnons des bagages qui spécifiquement haïtiens, comment on fait pour joindre yo, pour capable créer Kembe et Kreyol Korner marché. On va parler tout le monde, on a mis tant qu'à fois. Non pas moi, c'est Marc Lubin. Jodi à nous gagnons et Kreyol Korner, c'est Nahika Hillery. Et qui a fait avec un pile passion, qui représente nous, qui fait valeur nous côté collier, et Nan Mitan Kafou qui ça nous fait, nous valoriser tête nous valoriser ça qui bon en nous, et aux alentours nous, et c'est ça que nous fait. Et n'a valoriser Nahika Hillery tout dire, jodia ensemble avec Kreyol Korner. Alors, manger haïtien, hein? N'a pris l'autre pause commerciale, et puis n'a retourné tout à l'heure. Tant pris, inscrit, abonné, subscribe dans YouTube channel Mitan Kafou. Remets-nous tout sur Facebook, like us on Facebook, Mitan Kafou. Tant pris, inscrit, abonné, subscribe dans YouTube channel Mitan Kafou. Remets-nous sur Facebook, like us on Facebook, Mitan Kafou. Alors, retournez dans Mitan Kafou ou joignez-nous sur YouTube, Mitan Kafou, s'il vous plaît. Subscribe, abonné, enregistré, inscrit sur channel YouTube là. Côté que vous avez des haïtiens, des rôles modèles qui existaient déjà, que nous menons sous podium Mitan Kafou qui pour parler avec vous. Remets-nous sur Facebook, voyez des commentaires, suggérez l'autre monde qui a fait des bagailles positifs pour haïtiens qui représentent nous très bien, qui a fait valeur nous, quel que soit côté que vous ayez, et nous tous nous joignons bénéfice là directement, indirectement. Sous montez Austin, Texas, ou a demandé, est-ce que m'ka viens manger haïtien? Et directement, tout le monde a préféré à Kreyol Korner Yabdou dans qui zone que vous avez joindre et vous avez mangé et vous avez content. C'est comme si vous êtes en Haïti, c'est comme si vous êtes Floride, c'est comme si vous êtes Boston et même bagaille là que vous pouvez joindre bon manger que yo offrir dans Kreyol Korner. Mais Hillery et question que nous posons, produit que nous joignons, épices, est-ce que qui j'en fait pour joindre yo? Pour joindre pour maintenant manger, est-ce que oui, cherche directement en Haïti ou du moins sous joindre yo disponible pour koto ya dans Austin, Texas?
So we have a few stores here, mainly in the other cities like Killeen and Houston that has products that I use at Kreyol Korner. Like John, I can find that in Houston. Because there's a distributor in Houston that provides that. Kolakuon, same thing. I can find that in Killeen. Everything else that I get, I use the local supermarkets here, or I go to the farmers market and get vegetables, especially for the legumes. I get that straight from the farmers.
Alors, notre tout manger qu'on fait, et qui sac numéro 1, nous ça vend beaucoup plus. Okay, so
I would say it's two main things, because we have a lot of vegetarian customers. So, so I do actually do the legume vegetarian, but you can add meat to it for an extra cost. And I do it that way because we have a lot of vegetarian customers. So I would say for the vegetarians, definitely the legume is the best seller. And then for the meat eaters, of course, the griot. Of course, the griot.
Ok. Puisqu'on parle dans le domaine médical, ou prend domaine affaires faire manger, culinary, et est-ce que gon l'autre bagaille, sous pas nan yon ou bien deux, est-ce que gon l'autre bagaille qui te nan rêve que peut-être ou te gen doit la donne?
Honestly, no. I think this would have been it for me, because cooking was a hobby of mine. So it was something that I liked to do for fun. At a later age, by the way, let me make that clear. I did not grow up cooking. My mom did the cooking. I learned how to cook at a later age, when I was in college. That's when I started to cook. But I was able to pick up cooking easily because, and I always make a joke about it, but I do feel like it was hereditary because tout le monde na famille, nous tous ka fait manger. Even my dad can cook. So when I started to cook, I was able to pick it up easily because we all know how to cook. But yeah, cooking is a hobby of mine. It's part of entertainment for me. You come to my house, good food, drinks, music. That's the kind of vibe that we provide. And that's the kind of house I grew up in. We had Fuitai night almost every Thursday at my house because my dad had like a Haitian political group. And so I just, I carry on the same thing here. And because it was a hobby of mine and now it's becoming, now I turned it into a business. This is exactly where I want to be. It's either here or science. I would have continued doing, or I would have continued pursuing a medical career, or I would have gone to culinary.
Et en parlant de épices qu'on joint, ou obligé de déplacer dans l'autre ville pour capable acheter, mais le Kreyol Korner truck là dans la rue, qui musique qu'a joué là-dedans?
Oh, what do you think? Of course, we're playing Haitian music. We play reggae and soca too, but mainly compa, zouk. I play a lot of gaga because that's my favorite. But yeah, we play, we play it all. Play it all. We play we try to provide like the island atmosphere when you come to the truck. So it's not just the food, it's not just the customer service, but my truck is designed like a tap in Haiti, and I ended up taking pictures of a tap that I absolutely loved in Haiti, and I worked with a local artist here, and he painted it. And I wanted the truck to be a visual right into Haiti. So when you walk up to the truck, you already know you're in a different place. From the music to the food to the customer service, we provide the island vibe here in Austin.
Wow. Et en parlant de famille, et ou combien frères, combien sœurs qu'on gagne et dans quel domaine que yo même?
So I have 2 older sisters, and my oldest sister works in social work, and the middle sister, she is a massage therapist downtown Boston.
Et mais est-ce que vous considérez tout quand yon moun qui gagne succès ou bien qui sous route pour gagner plus succès? Et si c'est ça, comment on définit?
I do feel like I am on the path to be successful. I'm one of those people that, although some may look at where I'm at right now as success, to me, I have so much more to do. And I am driven by the passion. I don't want to ever lose the passion for what I'm doing because success money-wise doesn't matter if my passion didn't support it. I want to make sure that everything I'm doing, I'm representing the Haitian culture the right way. I'm one of the people, one of many, to change the narrative around Haitian culture and bring it into a positive light, especially with the misrepresentation of Haiti in the media. I want to provide that. As long as I'm doing that, I do feel like I will be successful. That's my end goal, is to make sure I can make Haitian culture and food popular in areas that it's not really well known.
OK. Et non seulement maman avec papa influencé, mais en dehors de famille, qui l'autre monde qui influence pour monde ko yé jodi avec un pile passion et détermination?
Wow, I would say, everyone that surrounds me. I have my group of friends are very ambitious. I have family members that are also doing amazing things, even in the medical field as well. But we all like strive to be the best of ourselves that we can be, and that's something I grew up with, not just my family, but also the friends I grew up around. I would also say just even people I've worked with, coworkers that have encouraged me to do other things, or they were able to recognize talent that I didn't even know I had, and I was able to explore that. And when I explored it, I'm like, wow, I could take this to the next level. So I think it's a combination of family, friends, and coworkers that I'm surrounded by. I'm surrounded by people that are successful. I'm surrounded by people that are equally as ambitious, and that helps me stay motivated as well.
Wow. Et si gen un jour qu'on lève ou pas senti ou trop bien, et qui ça ou fait pour motiver tête tout, et pour dire qu'on ça passe m'pa prête la caille, m'pa coucher, m'pa décourager, et qui ça motive ou?
What motivates me is the people here, seriously, because I don't want to misrepresent the Haitian culture. So every day when I wake up, I'm like, even if I'm sick, I'm like, I don't want to upset my customers. I don't want them to feel like we're a lazy business. And because of the public attention, because obviously I'm a public business because I'm out there serving public people. So I want to make sure that I get up every day and do the business right every single day. That's my motivation. I get up and I'm like, I have to make sure these customers are satisfied. I have to make sure that we are representing everything that we do it well. And even when I was in school recently, I struggled with that because I ended up having staff members that I put in charge while I was in school because it was a struggle handling the business and school at the same time. And so there were issues with like opening on time, and customers would be calling me and we're closed because this staff member can't come, etc. And when I was done with school, I had to put out a public apology because I do my business with integrity. And I want people to know that I am not looking to, this is not just a dollar transaction for me. I want to make sure that as a Haitian business, I'm representing Haiti well. So I put out a public apology, and I was very sincere about it and transparent to say, I am sorry that we were inconsistent for the past several months. I was finishing school, but with that being said, I am now done with school. I'm back full time, and I'm going to make sure that, everything that I learned in school is represented in the business. And since we've done a relaunch, we've received like 6 5-star reviews because we're back to where we were at because of the customer service, the food, being open on time, making sure we have a full menu. It's absolutely important to do this every single day.
Et chaque monde gen un groupe de principes que adopté pour capable vivre vie au bien. Est-ce qu'on a une série de principes qu'on applique dans vie et qu'on respecte chaque jour et qui s'allie?
I have to be true to who I am. I'm not trying to be anybody else. I'm just trying to be exactly who I am, and that's the philosophy that I stick with. That is my quote: "Be true to who you are with whatever you are doing." I grew up in a Haitian household, although there are, people who look at me as a Haitian American. As my dad always says, I feel like I'm 200% Haitian. I grew up in a Haitian household with Haitian principes. I go to Haiti, I understand the culture, and everything that I do, I'm just true to who I am. I'm trying to do that through my business as well, just showing how I know Haiti, just showing the Haitian culture with my upbringing.
Et si gen jeune captain de nous, même j'avais ou bien gen moun qui doit beaucoup plus âgé, qui gen l'envie font business, mais qui ont certaines hésitations. Si vous doit motiver pour 2 minutes pour dire qui ça pour yo faire, pour capable commencer business, nan qui sort d'ap dire?
I would say plan. You have to have a plan. The business plan is absolutely important to be in place to start a business. This whole idea, especially among people my age, the millennial generation, we all want to work for ourselves. We no longer want a boss. And I just want to say one thing. You go from having one boss at your 9 to 5 to having several bosses at your 18-hour business. Let me tell you why. Your customers are your boss because they are what's going to take you to the next level. This is not, you cannot take your business lightly. You have to be very serious about what you're doing because customers are your new boss. They are going to be the ones to determine your success or not. If they are not satisfied, you will not get to the next level. So my words of encouragement is to plan. Do your research, understand your market before you put yourself out there. Have money available so you can start the business. You don't have to have I mean, depending on what your business is, but you don't have to have hundreds of thousands of dollars. But yes, if you want to start a business in 2020, you should already be saving for that. You should understand social media, how to market your business. You should understand your demographics, who's your target audience, and have a 1 to 5 year plan. Understand where you want to take your vision, but take the time to plan it. I think people rush into things and they just want to see success right away. Have to take time to plan so you can understand what you're doing.
Alors, Madame Hillery, Nabdou, merci. Nahika Hillery, Nabdou, merci pour participation dans Mitan Kafou. Mais avant qu'on aille, est-ce que nous sommes capables de dire ensemble en créole, on valoriser tête nous dans Mitan Kafou, quel que soit côté que nous y est. Mais c'est on valoriser tête nous dans Mitan Kafou. Et nous parlons ensemble. Vous capable de dire ensemble avec vous, entendez?
I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
On valoriser tête nous dans Mitan Kafou.
On valoriser tête nous dans Mitan Kafou.
Très bien dit. M'apprécier ça. Et Hillery, Nahika, Nabdou, merci pour participation. Tant qu'on nous dit, Mitan Kafou, c'est podium tout haïtien ordinaire. Cap fait un travail extraordinaire. Ce sont des Haïtiens humbles qu'on pas attendait vraiment, mais tout ça yo fait, yo tellement fait le bien, yo valoriser Haïtiens tout côté que y dans quel que soit que y a ça que y a fait. Jodia nous te gen rôle modèle pas nous qui gen un food truck qui est le Kreyol Korner qui dans Austin Texas qui bien représenter nous et nous tendez tout ça le dit. C'est Nahika Hillery. Nahika encore Nabdou merci et nous valoriser nan Mitan Kafou aujourd'hui.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay, bye bye. Mitan Kafou, c'est podium pour tout haïtien ordinaire qui font un travail extraordinaire. Quel que soit côté où il y a à travers le monde, nous menons sur podium Mitan Kafou. Moun sa yo, c'est moun pa yo, c'est moun pam yo. Nous devons valoriser dans Mitan Kafou. Ce sont des haïtiens qui font un travail extraordinaire. Ils sont des mondes ordinaires. Yo humble, yo pas aimé parler de tête yo. C'est ça yo fait qui parle pour yo. Et je dis à yo ban une chance. Yo vinn partager vie privée yo, vie professionnelle yo. Avec ou côté quoi besoin inspiration, côté que y a guidé pour capable progresser tout. Mitan Kafou, c'est podium tout haïtien ordinaire qui font un travail extraordinaire. Nous valoriser yo dans Mitan Kafou.
Mesdames, salut tout le monde, non pas moi, c'est Marc Lubin, bienvenue dans Mitan Kafou. Nous connaissons que Mitan Kafou, c'est podium pour tout haïtien ordinaire qui font un travail extraordinaire. Les gens qui ne parlent pas de tête, c'est ça yo fait qui parle pour eux.